Hey dear Tyler, good afternoon. I'm back with you again. And August has been a very sporadic month for us. So apparently I had an August visitor. Like typically in that way. My mom came over and she was around for like a week. And there was a lot going on. Did not necessarily have the privacy, if you get, of recording, but it was nice to have her around, just having the whole mother's touch, just seeing how she's aging gracefully. So it was fun, but that's one thing that really contributed to my inability to make episodes, right? So one thing that I'm really trusting God for is to be able to get, real podcast equipment, because right now I'm just using my phone and other things, which is it's fine, but then it's quite limiting in some ways, But anyway, that by the wayside. So I'm back, and I'm giving it, back to back. So it's really going to be nice, really going to be fun. Some things have been happening over the weeks. A lot of people have reached me, telling me about how dear Tyler has blessed them. And, it's quite humbling, because for people to be vulnerable enough to, come up to you, get into your DM and tell you that, okay, this stuff that you're doing is really blessing them. It's, I don't know. It's really nice to hear. I know that I've said this before. I've spoken about it before, but I really just want to, express my gratitude to God, and then to everyone that shares this amazing podcast. I remember 2 years back when I started, I would have never thought that it would have this impact, really. There are a lot of people that I need to thank. My whole Dear Tyler community people have been absolutely amazing. In fact, one of them, somebody sent me a DM, and there's this very silent member that literally enters into people's DMs and says, okay, have you listened to this podcast? Go over and listen to it. The person has been an immense support. I'm really grateful to, a lot of Dear Tyler community members. They keep on sharing this podcast with others. There are a lot of other people that are not part of the Dear Tyler community, but they're sharing it. Thank you so much. And then very great support systems like Jollof Radio. Every time I just come online, they're either retweeting, one of the episodes that I've done, and, giving a little synopsis to it. Thank you so much, Jollof Radio. I don't know. I just really hope that we grow together in a very big way. Thank you so much. And, it's, just doing it out of the benevolence of their heart. Each and every one of this, they're just doing it. It's not a paid promotion or nothing, but they're just being simply amazing. Thank you so much, Jollof Radio. So let's head back to, our discussions. Over time, we've had very compelling topics, right? So the first one was created with purpose, and then the last episode that we had is you are good enough, right? You're good enough. So we're talking about mind, self-development, building yourself, working or acknowledging the things that are in your life. Now, today's episode is it's a gift. It's a gift. One thing about creatives, right? Typically, one thing about creatives is there is this inert expression, or there's this thing about creatives that drives them towards the point of competition, right? So there is a whole lot of competition that literally happens. It's not like very direct, where two individuals actively proclaim competition. It's a very biblical way of saying it, but it's more of like a mental thing, right? And from that competition, it stems from, some level of comparison. So you're comparing what you're doing with another person, Like, let me say, for instance, now I'm a podcaster now, and then I am beginning to compare my own podcast with another person's podcast, even with the fact that we're probably engaging this same art in a different niche, with a different style, right? But then there's this thing that usually creeps in that makes us to compare ourselves. And then remember, the last episode spoke about the fact that you are not a second grade individual. What you carry is not a second grade thing, right? Yes, you may need to refine it, you may need to build on it, right? It's not even a me thing. You would have to build on it, you would have to refine it, you would have to structure it in a way that expresses its uniqueness, but it is not second class, it's not second grade. It's not second class, it's not second grade. And a lot of times we get plagued, when we have certain things about us that we do not tend to necessarily appreciate, right? We do not tend to necessarily appreciate. I was having a discussion with a friend, and the person keeps on talking about, oh, hey, Binga, you write amazing songs. Oh, hey, Binga, you sing very well. Hey, Binga, you write very well. You're very compelling with your words and everything like that. And somehow, within me, I know that or rather, I know that I do possess a certain quality when it comes to my ability to write or sing or something. But I would not deny the fact that there are a lot of times I don't think it is worthy to be dished out. One thing that has plagued me for a long time, I don't know if it's my perfection, me being a perfectionist, that whole thing usually happens with melancholy individuals, people that have that temperament, right? The melancholic temperament. I don't know if it stems from the fact that I'm a perfectionist. So I really want things to go in, word for word, detail for detail, dot for dot. Or if it is my, lingering battle with self-esteem, self-doubt and all, where somebody just don't think it's good enough, right? You just don't think it's good enough. For instance, when I started Dear Tyler in 2021, along the line, because I usually this thing stem from maybe like results or receptivity, how people receive your art or things like that. There was this time, after I'd done Dear Tyler for a while, I think I was approaching my first anniversary. Like Dear Tyler was coming like a year, and I remember the first episode, like everybody was just listening, all of the support, people are listening, the friends, everyone just saying share this, they were sharing it on their status, and we got quite a lot of listens. And there was this picture in my mind that we're going to just continue climbing uphill. And somehow it got to a point where I would not have up to 30 listens in a month. Literally, not have up to 30 listens in a month. And I just felt like, maybe this podcasting thing is not for me. And then with the encouragement of a whole lot of people, and then working on different strategies, I kept at it. And get to see it now, right? Get to see it now, where we are literally connecting with people from all over the world. Sometimes I sit down and I'm like, Binga, imagine if you had stopped doing Dear Tyler because you felt that you were not making progress, or you felt that it was not a valuable pursuit at that time, right? Remember, I started this episode telling you that a lot of people have been reaching out and, being extremely grateful. Yeah, people have been pulled out of depression because of it, or been pulled out of depression because of it. People have been liberated from every mental, every mental attack. A lot of people have expressed that. And, for me, like I said, I asked myself the question, what would have happened if I didn't do it. This person would have probably not gotten that testimony. Now, God is absolutely merciful. Right? God is absolutely merciful that He would probably create a way. But what happens if that other way to disobeyed like I did or something? Right? So this, it just kind of like broadened my mind that, you see, one thing God has been teaching me, right, is that your audience does not have to be in front of you. Your audience doesn't have to be in front of you. 70% of the people that listen to Dear Tyler are not on my contact list. Apparently, I found out 70% of people that listen to Dear Tyler are not even on my contact list, which is quite shocking. I get to see the reads, the listens, the numbers and all, and compared to, the people I send it to, right, and then the feedback that I get, I hardly do get feedback from people that even know me or people that I know. It's always strangers. And that was the problem that I had, that I was looking at the value of my gift based on the receptivity of the people within my sphere, the people that I could see. And whether they received it or not became my yardstick for judging the value of what I was doing, which was absolutely wrong. I'll give you another instance. I am a songwriter, and I'm a very, very good songwriter. You cannot imagine how much it took for me to say this right now, because over time, I started writing songs from the year 2000, secondary school. And I remember my first song. I think I've sung it for you guys. I'm not too sure, but I have written songs from the year 2000. This is 2023. And no year has passed that I've not written a song. In fact, at the peak of my songwriting journey, but sometime went back in time, I think around 2009, 2010, not exaggerating, I probably wrote 2 songs a day. They could be 3-liners, they could be complete songs, whatever it is, even if they were fragments. But there was no day that passed that there wasn't an expression of a song written. There was a time when I was writing, I was keeping archive of my songs and all. I kid you not, close to 500. It was, so big, so much. And, a lot of people did like it. But I remember when I would go to minister, right? I would go over to minister those songs, and I didn't get the reception that other people got, right? Didn't get the reception that other people got. So I really hope you'd understand the perspective from which I'm coming from, so it's not a slight on anyone or anything, right? The particular vicinity in which I was at that time, like, it had to be like fire-breathing kind of songs, something that could engage, the love chants. There are a lot of like one-liner songs where they keep on repeating certain things. But then, when I come to sing, when I sing, it's like everyone just sits down and then just listens. And the listening aspect is, I used to sense this level of boredom. I don't know if it was just my personal uncertainties, or if it was true that they were just bored, and then some people like, we got nice singing, lovely song. And then maybe just one person will come and be like, that song that you sang was for me. That song that you sang was for me. That song that you sang was for me. And then, yeah, you guys are my guys, so I can tell you, they don't necessarily give you the same appreciation that they give other people. They don't give you the same acknowledgement that they give other people. There's this level of receptivity that you would hope for that you won't get. And I literally just felt like my songs are not good. Because I was wanting people to cry, be on the floor rolling and all that. I didn't get that response. And my songs were not, I don't think at that time they were memorable in the hearts of people, people that did things. People that listened to it at that time. So it just got to a point that I lost all passion and drive for writing music or writing songs and all. I literally just stopped. I could write, and if somebody ever came and told me that, hey, Binga, your song is beautiful, I literally felt it was flattery, right? Some form of flattery statement like that. And I really didn't believe that they were good. Really didn't believe it. It's hard to accept it, but yeah, I didn't believe it was good. And it somehow stopped me from sharing what I had with the world. Now, over time, it did build some level of envy, because it's like, and my envy was not even to people. My envy was targeted towards God. Like, hello, sir, my Lord and my King. How far your guy is here? You gave me a gift of writing songs and all. And it seems like the world is not accepting it. And more so, it's like the people that I believe should, or the people that I want to connect with, acknowledge it, are not doing it. It was quite painful. I remember there was a time that I taught a set of people a song with so much passion, and then it turned to a joke. They were laughing, doing some certain things. There was a certain level of disinterest. It was quite a painful experience. And I just told myself that, nope, I'm not doing it again. Let me just stay. But then, God told me one time, and he said, the problem is that you always think your audience is here. Number 2, you always think that your impact is just based on numbers. The people that come and meet you. Do you get? Jesus went over to a particular place, and there was a possessed man in a cave, chained. He would sometimes break off his chains because of the weight of demon possession that he had. And, the man with legion, for those of us that know the Bible story, right? And when Jesus delivered him, he wanted to follow Jesus, and it was like, nah, you need to go and tell people of the good works that God has done for you. And because when Jesus casted out the demons from the man, he casted the demons into swine, right? Swine or pigs. And then the pigs ran into the ocean and died. And then they literally told Jesus to depart from that land. So it looked like Jesus only won one soul. But that one soul went to preach in 10 cities. Now imagine if he did not acknowledge the fact that one person was valuable enough. You see, because most times we think that the message that we carry, or the things that we carry, have impact because thousands listen. It always starts from one, and then it spreads. Or Jesus at the well, and then the Samaritan woman comes over to him at the well, right? And then he speaks to her, and she gained some level of conviction about her own personal life. And it just looks like it was just one person that received that word. Just one person that received that word. But then at the end of the day, she goes back into her city, testifies, and then they make a statement that we heard these things from you, but now we have witnessed it with our own eyes. Imagine if the Lord did not value that one individual. What would have happened? And he brought these instances to me. He says, Binga, do not be in a haste to downgrade what I have given you because it has not gotten the receptivity that you think makes it powerful. For every time that you dispense what you give, what I've given you to the world, you are sowing seeds that other people would reap and enjoy the fruits from. There's this, I remember when I went to school in Bauchi, playing the guitar and everything. There was one guy, his name is Ruben, followed me and learned as much as he could, showed him quite a lot of things. And it looks like that was just Ruben. But then, he moved over to another campus. And then all of a sudden, in that campus, there are like little pockets of individuals learning how to play the guitar, spending nights and time in worship. And, he went back to his local government, back to his hometown, and still creating all of those pockets. So every time when I get to visit them in Bauchi, when I get to Bogoro, they're like, oh my God, this is the Binga that taught Ruben, this is the Binga that taught Ruben. Now, that one individual that seed was sown into, right, was the point of spreading. If not that I went to Bogoro to see them, or if not that I visit and I frequent the land of Bauchi, it would have been extremely hard for me to know the extent of the impact. My younger brother, we were in the same secondary school. So when I was in SS3, he was in JS1. And when he was in SS3, there was a song that I wrote, I think in my SS1 or my SS2. And a particular friend of mine told me that he didn't like it, until we now sang it and it became an anthem in the school. And as far as I know, I heard that they still sing the song today. Right? This is over 16 years ago. Yeah, over 18 years ago. That's over 20 years ago, apparently. Over 20 years ago, the song that I taught the choir in my school, they still sing it in the school today. And it blesses them. They sing it because it blesses them, apparently. So, if all I see about what God has given me is just within the scope of my sight, then I'm really, really devaluing it. I am really, really devaluing it. So what's the admonition really in all of this? Whatever God has placed in your life, Tyler, it is a gift. It is a gift in the sense that you did not earn it. You did not necessarily work for it. It was placed in you divinely. Value it. Then it is a gift, meaning that it is something that would serve nations. You have to believe that, Tyler. You have to believe it. You cannot be the one that is devaluing, right? Downgrading what God has given you because it does not have some certain level of acceptance. You cannot be that person. In fact, let other people look at your gift in a way that is not valuable. Do not be amongst those people. Your own perception of what God has given you is the most important perception that you would have. Because people can look at you and be like, hey, Binga, you're an amazing songwriter. But if I do not see it in that perspective, I will not be able to dish it out with that same value. I will always dish it out from the place of it's not good, or it's not something that is capable of being a blessing to people. What God has given you, Tyler, it is a gift. You could be a very, very skilled hairdresser, right? So you just find out that I had this friend of mine that says that when they were young, they used to, here we call it plait. They used to plait the hairs of mango. So after they've taken their mango in our words, after they suck or drink the mango, right? All of those hairs that they used it to learn how to plait. And there are some people that it's extremely neat, or very, very creative. And it may look like, what is it? How valuable is it? Or how can anybody be blessed by it? That particular thing that you're downgrading, somebody else is probably craving for it. One thing that you should always ask yourself, Tyler, is how can this that I do sincerely reveal Jesus, sincerely reveal God, or sincerely bless my generation? Now, I really do believe I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, I believe in Jesus, and I am obsessed about the kingdom of God. I do believe and I do hope that people come into the knowledge of God. But I also understand that a lot of you may not necessarily subscribe to my convictions. In as much as I would want you to, I respect the fact that you have your own personal convictions. I just believe that one of the things that we can all agree on is that we can be able to serve the world with our gift, right? So you may not necessarily look at it from the perspective of a Christian, but always try to find out how what you have can serve the world. So it could be hairdressing, it could be painting, it could be whatever it is, right? But you've got to look at it from the fact that this skill was given, this gift was given because it was able, or it is capable rather, of serving people. It's capable of serving people. One thing I am particularly grateful for are the kind of songs that I listened to while growing up. So yeah, I got exposed to secular music early, and the likes. So it did inform the quality of my musical knowledge, right? I was taught music on a theoretical basis, right? So I do have like little understandings here and there. But the faith-based songs that I heard really, really fashioned me. So for instance, there's this group called New Worlds to Discover. And there was this one that they sang, walk a mile in his shoes. Don't look down, criticize or abuse. Take the time to see the things he's going through. See just how it feels to walk a mile in his shoes. Now, it's talking about putting yourself in the position of other people before acting. And so it kind of like informed my mind that don't just act irrational, right? Don't just do things from a selfish point of view. Always try to find out how other people feel about it, how it affects the feelings of others, right? And that was major point. So one of the songs that really, really did bless me was I can't remember. It says something, I were used for God or something. So it says Samson had a jawbone, Aaron had a rod, someone had a Shammah had an ox goad, something had a lamb, Mary had a needle, David had a sling. But it was just talking about all of those little things that people necessarily despise. So for instance, right, the soldiers, trained soldiers, were threatened by an enemy of God called Goliath. Right, threatened by an enemy of God called Goliath. And they're trained in swords and everything. And David had the courage to go over and meet Saul and say that he wants to be the one to fight him. And since he volunteered, Saul tried to give him his armor, but he said that this is not I'm used to it. It was heavy and all. He went and picked 5 stones and went with a sling. One of the things that Goliath told him is that, why do you insult me by bringing a boy, to come and fight me with sling and everything? And David made mention of something. He said, I do not come to you with sling and stone, but I come in the name of the Lord, the angel of armies, right, that you have defied. He understood that what he carried within him is what really gave value to the gift, right? That's what really gave value to the gift. The consciousness of the person that gave him, right? The person that is fueling it is what gave value to that gift. And while everybody was looking at how they could use, weapons of mass destruction or whatever, he carried a smooth stone, very, very insulting, but a smooth stone and a sling mastered by him. And with that thing that was easily despised, right, he was able to bring down a giant. Now, there wasn't any other record that he consistently used that, but I'm just trying to say that there are certain things in our lives that we typically downgrade, but if we put ourselves to it and apply ourselves to mastery, those things can bring down a lot of giants. It can make us, when you think of the name David in the Bible, right, what you attribute it is how he brought down Goliath with a sword, with stone and sling. There are other things, there are a lot of battles that he fought. With the sword, but you're not, that's not what draws you to him. What draws you to him is that sling and stone story, or that the fact he was a musician, right? And through his music, he was able to bring deliverance. The very guitar that Benga plays has that ability to do that. It's me that is looking at it from the perspective that it is not something valuable. Dear Tyler, you've got to be confident in what God has placed in you. And you've got to look at it from the viewpoint that it is a gift. First to you, a gift that God has given you that is peculiar to you, then a gift to the world. The world needs what you carry, Tyler. The world needs what you carry. You've got to do everything within your power, everything within your consciousness to convince yourself that what you carry is valuable. What you carry is valuable. I know that I've really, really spent time on this, but you've got to look at it from a gift. Begin to approach it from that standpoint of a valuable thing. A valuable thing. Do you know how when somebody, especially somebody that you love, right, gifts you something so precious, there's a way that you keep it. I have presently right now, I think there are 3 guitars in my 4 guitars in my room. One is for somebody actually, but typically I have 4 guitars. I've bought only one, and 2 were gifts. 2 were gifts. It's extremely difficult for me to ever give out that one. It's just because it holds memories of the love that the person has to me. So there's a way that I handle it when because it is a gift, right? And that's what we need to do. You've got to guard what God has given you, Tyler. You have to guard it. Guard it. Look at it from the eyes of someone precious. This is the last thing that I would say. God gave me an analogy way back then, and it was a little bit misconstrued by people, and I think it's really my fault. It's the way that I presented it. But somebody holds a handkerchief. A handkerchief is, just a piece of cloth that was probably designed in a nice pattern or so. Now, if my handkerchief falls, right, just think my handkerchief falls, it's not really much of a big deal. But imagine if that was the handkerchief of Bill Gates. And maybe he says, this was a handkerchief, my own personal handkerchief, right? This is my own personal handkerchief, and I want to gift it to you. Same handkerchief. Back then it was 15 naira, if not because of fuel subsidy now, right? But let's say 15 naira, less than $1, right? And they give you one from me, one from Bill Gates, same handkerchief. But because the person that gave you, the gift is an expression of the giver. It's an expression of the giver. When you ever doubt your gift, remember who gave you. Dear Tyler, whenever you doubt your gift, remember who gave you. That's how valuable it is. Whenever you doubt your gift, remember who gave you the gift. That's how valuable it is. So I really, really do hope that this blessed you, right? I really hope that this blessed you. And let's just pray. Father, thank you so much for the gifts, Lord, that you have placed in us. Thank you, Lord, because you are helping us build confidence and build value in that gift, that irrespective of how far we have to go to be able to refine the gift, that, Lord, we will not downplay it, will not downgrade it, will not look at it from the perspective of something light, but, Lord, we will value it. Help us to build that gift and to dispense it, oh God, with honor and with grace. Thank you, Lord. In Jesus' mighty name, we have prayed. So I really hope that this blessed you. Please remember to share this podcast with others, right? Let people know about Dear Tyler. Keep on praying for us. And yeah, if you want to support Dear Tyler, why not? Just slide into Dear Tyler DM on Instagram, and then I'll be able to put you through some of the things that we need. But yes, as most importantly, I just really hope that this blesses you and it gets to the ears of other people. So this is me signing out, Tyler. You're getting an episode tomorrow, right? So this is me signing out, Tyler. Remember that I love you, I believe in you, and I am always, always rooting for you. Bye.